Just recently, we all were very excited to hear the announcement that ChatGPT is officially integrated with HubSpot. And this is leading us into the next step of AI for sales engineers. I have never used an AI to automate some of my tasks for the CRM, but it seems like that's exactly where we're headed. And we talked about that and a whole lot more about AI and pre-sales on today's show.
Yes. And with that, welcome to the Presales Podcast. I am your co-host, Timmy Hendrickson, Presales Collective's Chief of Staff, and I am stepping in for our General Manager, Jack Cochran, today. As always, we're joined by our co-host, Matthew James. Matthew, happy Tuesday.
This was so much fun speaking with you, Timmy. Jack's getting some well-needed R&R. So what should our listeners expect out of today's episode?
Today on the podcast, we have Nalin Senthamil, the founder and CEO of Storylane, an agentic demo automation platform that lets you build killer product demos in just under 2 minutes.
Get excited, guys.
Nalin, very nice to have you on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me. Very excited to chat a little bit more today here with everybody. So yeah, I do come with a little bit deep tech background. I'm happy to share my perspectives around how AI can help with presets today.
Nalin, I have a question at the top of this. We're talking about demo automation and AI. Why is that important to you?
Yeah, demo automation and AI is a very passionate thing for me. So as you have seen, this is my third company. The reason that we'll go back into a little bit of why I started this itself and why it becomes important. So in my first company itself, I had a demo team, literally, right? And I was a CTO. I had a demo team building these things. Back then, 10 years back, I didn't know anything about how these whole things, the solutions have evolved in the last 10 years a lot. We used to have a demo team building these proof of concepts and everything. We used to spend a lot of time engineering hours to build these things. And then my last company, which is an edtech company, what we did is we built out our demos on the websites to sell our product itself. So we saw the evolution a little bit from having demo teams internally building these things and also demos facing buyers also. So when we started Storylane, this is one thing that I was very attached with. And then we decided in Storylane, it's going to be the B2B landscape is changing a lot. We realized some of the things that I have learned from these two companies could be tied together in the hip where the buying journey is also changing. And we can promote this into a SaaS product that can come out and convey to the users in terms of how people are researching their products, how the whole buying journey landscape is changing. So it's very attached to me in that way, in the AI landscape. And 2022, when the AI started, so we realized a lot of these demo solutions could be fully automated as well. So that's where we have launched a lot of our products completely with AI-based solutions today. So people can build demos faster so that the whole buying landscape can be changed as well there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. And today we're going to cover the future of pre-sales and AI driving influence beyond pipeline. So our first question is, what does a self-serve buyer experience really look like?
So I mentioned a little bit about how a B2B buying landscape is changing. What really it means is today buyers are not really super excited coming in and talking to sales as a first thing. There is a lot of materials out there, data out there for them to research around this itself, be it a G2s, Capteras, Trust Ratings. You go there, you learn a lot about what your product is doing. They get all those information externally and then couple that with a lot of vendors out there today. In any category you look at, there is going to be a lot of competition, a lot of vendors out there. So they are not really excited to pick up the phone and talk to sales as the first thing. So for them, they want to have a conversations directly. Think of it at level 2 when they start having a conversation. I don't think those discovery calls are going to continue to exist, right? Those are going to be dead. So which means buyers are well educated. They're going to do their research. They're going to learn all about your product from forums, websites. And they're also going to come to your website to learn about what your product is doing, understanding what your product is doing, take a quick demo of your product, self-serve, self-explore themselves. And I also starting to see a shift where it's not just demos, but also it's more persona based, depending on verticals, use cases, who's coming. You want to start tailoring different concepts of your demos to your buyers as well. They're able to educate themselves. To me, the self-serve buying experience starts really from your website or from a landing page where they're coming, they're educating. Your marketing is doing a lot of demand to push people onto your website. And it really starts from there. Once they get educated, they talk to a demo strategist. To me, it's like sometimes some companies might have a sales agent in the first call, depending on the deal size and everything. But really, the AEs are being uplifted. They're talking to a strategist at that point, like an AE, a salesperson. And they're not having a level one conversation discovering. They're diving deep straight into that conversation, understanding. And then they want to explore the product on their own with the POC or educating themselves a little bit about the demos itself. To me, the self-serve buying experience is not like a point solution like it happens only on the website, but it's throughout the journey in the cycle. From the time somebody lands on your website, all the way till they purchase product and the deal is done, there is a lot more self-serve buying experience happens at different touch points. To me, that is most important here. And that's what we at Storylane also see it a lot happening.
You said something really interesting. One, the discovery call is going to die. And then on the other hand, you've captured this idea that we need to be tailoring our buying journeys. So I'm curious how we are going to be capturing that kind of information to get to that next level of tailoring. And who does pre-sales need to work with in order to get there?
Let me talk about the first thing about the discovery call thing. So I think you mentioned about that.
I love this
right?
hot take, by the way. Take us into the future.
So I do think in the websites today, when we started out like Storylane itself, people stop going into the discovery calls. What happens is you get educated about what your product doing on your website, and you have like different, we call it like a hub, where think of it like a deal room, but it's externally facing for your buyer to educate about yourself. Be it about all the features about your product, be it about your case studies, be it about everything, right? Why lock it inside, right? You want to expose some of them, making it personalized based on some questionnaires and things that they fill in. So you show them the right things. Now, what's missing there is like, we don't have an agent who can ask these questions and answer these questions itself. To me, what will happen in the future and what's already happening is there will be a sales agent on your website who will do the discovery for you quickly, who can answer these questions at a high level. The buyers are well educated already through all the forums and websites, everything. And they're able to get to know exactly what your product does quickly. 30,000 feet, they can get down to like quickly a 5,000 feet level. The moment they get more exposure from here, typically your buyers are like, if you look at general buying journey, you always have like from 10 vendors, you're shortlisting to 5 vendors. And then finally, you're going to come down to a couple of vendors, right? At any given time, and where you're going to run a POC. So you want to be among the top 2, which means like you need to educate them more and more. And that's what is happening today. Marketing is pushing a lot of content, people are educating. So essentially this will converge there. And to me, an agent will be on your website, which will talk to them, answer questions based on the conversation, based on the persona. It will show them the right demo or show them the right things to them. So as a buyer, they get well educated. How pre-sales will shape this, to answer the second part, what gets discovered, what gets shown to any prospect, pre-sales is the person who has the most knowledge over there. I mean, I see 2 people, right? Product marketing, product teams, and pre-sales has abundance of knowledge, what needs to be delivered at the right time. So they will shape a little bit about the discovery itself, because if you have a wrong, non-qualified people coming in, pre-sales spend a lot of time. So they have a big stake in terms of discovery itself. So they will shape in terms of what demos to be shown early on itself. And once that process goes through and then they get into the POCs where those top 2 vendors are there, where they're going to spend a lot more time, that's later in the journey itself, where pre-sales will be shaping a lot more in the demo itself.
That makes sense. And thank you for sharing that. How do you think AI has changed the role of solutions engineering, sales engineering today, or will it in the future?
Broadly speaking, I would put like at least 4 categories where SE's job generally gets, maybe more, right? But just bucketed them. So if you look at it, the most important part of an SE is like they're building. Nowadays, there's a lot of focus on building relationship directly from an SE to a buyer. There's a lot of solutioning, strategy, what the SE is starting to think about, like what kind of POC to do. The second, I like to look at it like the actual demo itself, right? They do the demos, run the POCs, they get on the calls, they do that. Then there's a lot of administrative tasks that they do, which is like people do like, hey, updating CRMs for RFP filling and everything that they do. And the last thing I would say is they have the knowledge base of product, because they know the gaps that are there. They're sharing those insights back to product teams, marketing teams, people asking questions, sharing those insights. If you put those things like broadly into 4 different things that they're spending time on, to answer your question about how AI will change, I would start looking at like things where there's strategic things. SEs will play a pivotal role, like sharing those insights, definitely a lot of places where then the building relationship. And the 2 areas where the administrative tasks that are there, that will go away a lot more to reduce the burden. And then the second is the demo itself. They're spending too much time to prep the demo and show the demos itself. And AI will help them automate and tailor those demos faster, more personalized, quickly. Those are the two areas where I feel AI will have the first impact. It's not like AI is going to replace SEs, right? There's a lot of things people talk about AI sales engineers replacing. I don't think that's ever going to happen. It's going to be more like a teammate. Think of it like a twin or a sidekick, whatever you call it. It's going to help them be better. To me, what will happen is a lot more people will want to be an SE, and that's what is going to happen. A lot of AEs and everybody will be like moving into SEs because they want to be a product strategist, thinkers of exactly solving the problems, rather than someone who's doing the same repeated task. That's basically what will happen.
I've definitely seen this happen with some of my demos already. And if I could sum up how AI's had the biggest impact on me, it falls into that idea of creating the tailored demo. And the thing that AI has let me do via a couple of tools that I've found online, you can iterate on your design so much faster. You can consume a lot of information from a prospect's website, and then you can stand something up, given the right tools, that's going to address a certain point of view. And if you need to switch that based on the persona or based on new things that you discover in the value that you're selling, you're able to do that so much faster. I don't have to lose as many hours in Figma drawing up a design. Or if I am going to go there, I can mock some things up before I actually go all the way. So something else that you mentioned there, we want to keep our pre-sales people being strategic. And so we're taking off some of that lift and the load of the tasks that can be taken away. Here's the thing, AI is always going to need a little bit of coaching, right? So what do you think are the areas where pre-sales is going to be, I guess, still watching as the AI is going to be taking some of those low-level tasks? What's the best way for our pre-sales people to be thinking, here's where I'm going to collaborate with this AI and use it to enhance my skills?
Out of the four broad categories that I mentioned where the pre-sales spend time, I would definitely recommend starting with those two areas, which is the demo preparation and the demo itself. You touched upon it so that you don't have to spend hours preparing the demos. You want the tailored versions that you want to share it with them, be it early in the call to help in the discovery or during your POCs, irrespective of during the pipeline, during the stages where the buyer is at, you can use them. The second definitely is the AI to be used for you will be in the administrative task. You definitely want to leverage that so that you don't want to spend any time updating certain things like CRMs and filling up documents and everything as well. There is a whole bunch of people who are doing like updating CRMs and companies or updating things as well. Today, like ChatGPT is releasing every couple of months. Today, it has a plugin directly connected to your HubSpot. Tomorrow, it's going to have it directly connected to your Salesforce. So essentially what will happen is like, this is going to come default for you in some ways for everybody, right? Sooner than later, right? It's already starting to happen, which means like you don't have to ever log into certain things and you will be able to do all of these updates pretty much from your Slack or wherever you are. To me, that's like happening and it's already happening. So then the strategic thinking for them is more important and they have to spend like demo time also needs to reduce for them so that they are more and more cleverly spending the time on strategic and building relationships and start using AI in demos as well there.
I haven't had a chance to benefit from automating my Salesforce workflows yet. So maybe that's something I need to go and have an experiment with. Timmy, have you done anything like that so far?
Not yet, but I have been exploring it. So Matthew, how about this? If either one of us find the solution, we can jump on a quick huddle and share our best practices.
Sounds great.
Now, Nalin, something that traditionally requires a lot of time from SEs is answering product-specific technical questions. How do you think AI agents can be trained to answer those so that SEs can be focused on delivering value?
I think in terms of technical questions itself, basically, when you look at technical questions, it's basically you have a lot of systems out there today to train, like from a big enterprise solution providers out there to small systems using your knowledge base, documentations, data that is sitting in Google Drives, data that is sitting in your Slack messages, wherever. So what has happened is the good data coming in, then basically the models are trained on the good data. So the good data is coming out of it, right? So the quality needs to be important. The way I see it is like the data that being fed into the systems are super important. And once they're trained well enough in terms of tribal data that exists in your system somewhere, SEs basically will be like, instead of having an SE answer some of these questions, what typically happens is like people are able to get those kind of questions answered quickly. Be it like, hey, which demo I need to show up or what kind of compliance I have. These are things that they will be able to get answers for them very quickly. And AI agents can be trained on this based on the data input. You can have like curated set of demos that you want to put in into those as well. But the idea is like you are putting in enough set of information there. So in terms of like from your organizational data itself, so that ACs are well trained on that.
How do we keep going on that model? Because something I've seen is definitely a lot of tribal knowledge, and a lot of it is written down. A lot of it is scattered across Slack posts here and there. I've had a couple of people leave a team, and then we've realized that actually quite a bit of tribal knowledge has gone with them. So in training those AIs, what can we do to make sure we're not losing information that way?
These are knowledges that exist like in conversations in your conference documents or Slack messages, right?
Yeah, you're like at a conference somewhere, you've made a quick note. Is that going into the CRM? Who knows?
To me, that's where I feel like there is this application layer that's being built out, a layer on top of them. So which is constantly ingesting the data from your Slack conversations. It's not like every conversation goes in. There is still a gatekeeper in terms of what needs to get in an approval. But the big work that is being done manually of feeding this data is reduced a lot, right? Or be it a call recording or somewhere that has been like left alone so that you're able to catching those data as well quickly, and it's getting ingested into your systems now. To me, the data loss was a lot. Now with AI being there, it's constantly being pulled in automatically. So which means the data loss is very low, even if somebody leaves out. So, hey, all I have to do is make a note somewhere. It doesn't have to be in my CRM, but we know that AI is indexing this data from a Google Drive or from a conference document or Slack. So data is not lost, and you are able to get that data. Disparate data used to exist, but now a lot of that bundling is happening in some ways or other so that the loss is less. But still, in my opinion, it's not like, again, I will go back, garbage in, you'll get garbage out, which means like there's got to be still a gatekeeper in terms of what needs to be there. And that's where like there is some work on administrating of what data gets in is also very important there.
On this topic of how we're transforming, training AIs to answer these technical questions, maybe this one's dreaming a little bit into the future. So we've talked about how we're able to synthesize information, probably put it together if the SE is able to ask the right prompt. Do you think that AI is going to the place where we can give it a scenario and it'll be able to test it? Because I think this is the other really important thing that SEs do in answering these kinds of questions. They'll take an actual customer scenario, run it through the software, and then have a look at how the output is. So do you think AI is ever going to help me with that?
I think 100%. Let's talk about a couple of use cases. Like, let's say there is a deal that was done with one of the enterprise companies, right? Maybe a deal was done with a cybersecurity company. Palo Alto Network, somebody did a deal. It's a complex deal, multiple products, and then now we sold it. Now, similar lookalike company comes in. You have a clear playbook of what needs to be done. So now how do you do that? What demos were used? What data was used in those demos? How do you replicate for another cybersecurity company that you're selling it to? The easiest and quickest way for you to do that will be like using AI, right? There are a few things. It's not just a demo. Demo is definitely the most important part of it, like what you're showing. But in terms of the right set of questions, what you answered, in terms of the stages that the buyer went through, everything is well captured and documented somewhere for you. Now, that data could be leveraged in terms of case studies that you shared with them, in terms of different segments of maybe you showed them a demo of a specific dashboard of analytics that is specific to cybersecurity, specific to incidents or something related to them. Now you can replicate that for another company that comes exactly in the same vertical. Typically what happens is like you have the data, you have to go through this manual work of cleaning it up data again and resetting that data and showing it to another company that comes up. Now with AI, what will happen is like you have one demo environment. You can say like, hey, I showed something like this to one of the company A. I have a lookalike company. Can I use the template, modify that exactly like this with a couple of clicks? You have a more cleaned up data available quickly. Now you're able to replicate it. It basically saves you a lot of time. Now I'll go back to say like, then SEs are thinking not about like spending this mundane work around like administrative cleaning up and task and managing these environments itself. What happens is it's thinking strategically. Everything is there. Now let's take one step further. I already sold to a cybersecurity company. Another cybersecurity company is here. Let me understand a little bit about building relationship, understand about the unique use cases specific for them. You might have like lots of features, but specific features that maps to them, you will start strategically thinking about it. You're not spending time on other administrative tasks. So AI will definitely help in terms of cleaning up your demo environments and setting them up as well.
Nalin, what do you think are some overlooked use cases for demo automation?
I think there are a couple of use cases. Definitely, it's throughout the buying stack, right? I talked about demo automation, all the way from website marketing to the POC, right? It goes all the way. Now, I would say one of the overlooked ones within the SE angle, I would say is typically SEs, they think about like A to SE ratio, right? I mean, like it's a controversial topic. In some ways, people will say like from 1:1 to 1:15 or whatever, right? Definitely depends on a lot of your complexity of the products and everything. The use case that typically people use there is like, hey, I want SEs to spend time on high value deals, which is like the deals that are worth millions. But I'm still selling into like SMB and mid-market where I don't want an SET to be involved and AE is talking to them. But rather I want to automate those demos, right? I want to show them be more self-serve without being there on those calls. So to me, in those cases is where a lot of demo automation is used today. That's where basically like I would say, hey, I don't need to be on call, very tailored, very personalized, and I can have an agent, demo agent that can actually use SE's language or use the demos that they have used to self-serve. That's a very common use case that's being used today so that they don't have to be present and you can automate a lot of these demos. The second use case, I'll talk about the overlooked one. That is like in high value deals also, where SEs are spending time. One of the things that they're missing out is there is a lot of touch points that happen. Maybe you're showing to one of the C-suite and you want to show a specific dashboard. You want to create a lot of mini micro sandbox demos. And they don't necessarily need to keep those environments ready. And now that's one of the places where people are still spending too much time managing the existing demo environments and where they can create small micro demos using demo automation tools like Storylane, where they can capture them and build them very quickly. It's not always low value deals. It's also in the high value deals. I see a lot of value, which is generally being overlooked a lot because they want to have the presence. I get it. But I think there's a lot of automation there that can be done.
What are your thoughts on demo automation for upsell opportunities? Are there opportunities to get any additional revenue using demo automation tools?
100%, right? And I think this will go into like a little bit of topic around like how pre-sales will also shape a little bit of upsell, right? And a lot of that. I mean, like one is we talk about deal closing. Post-sales, they coordinate a lot. Now what you're seeing is with customer success teams, account teams, basically. Typically, you're doing enterprise deals, right? So you have multi-product and your customer bought only one part of your product. Now, how do you sell a product or a feature that they don't have as an upsell opportunity? Typically, you're not going to go through the same sales cycles. The customer already has access to some part of your product, but you need to give them exposure to something else to, again, think of like starting from a scratch zero, where they're going through the discovery and learning about the new features and then expanding into that, right? Again, demo automation is used a lot there, where you are able to give them a slice of what they don't have, personalized for their environment, right? I have access to an environment, personalized for my environment. And now again, AI will help you to personalize the data based on the customer's environment quickly in that environment, build a demo. And you're able to share that without getting full access to it. So they get a glimpse of what that will look like, because you need to excite your buyer at every stage, be it in the first deal you're doing or be it in an upsell, right? What they're lacking. So the CS and pre-sales partner a lot there in order to show what they're missing there. That's another area where we see a lot of demo automation being used in expansion of additional product lines, additional features, whatever it is, right? Sometimes we've seen it being like used in like moving from mid-market to enterprise also, right? So just like going up market, it's emotions.
I think that in order to get there, we as organizations and then the AIs that we're using need to have some sort of framework of value. Before we even get there, right, I'm hoping our sales counterparts are running the entire pipeline, running the entire account list through an AI saying, where are the opportunities for this new product that we've just put out? Where are the opportunities that this is being underutilized? And in order to get answers to those, which then leads into the demo, we as pre-sales people have this opportunity to step up into that strategic space because we can identify, let's say, the 3 things that we're going to impact most in this customer segment. And then that gives the AI something to actually crunch through. And then by the time we've identified the account, we can go back to those points and say, okay, out of those 3, Mr. ChatGPT or Mr. AI or Mr. whatever, where do I need to be doubling down on this demo? And then can you actually help me create this?
100%. It's not like what you said, like it is never going to be like one solution that will fit in. It's a bunch of different AI tools that you'll have to use and start leveraging them. You need to be able to give that into ChatGPT or whatever you're connected with, get the right data, feed the right data, use the strategic information of data, update instead of manually spending time updating any of these environments. Quickly click through it and have that tailored versions that's available for them. so that you can show value quickly. And a lot of this will come down to like how much of data that's sitting outside that you're able to pull in very quickly matters a lot. And today with these tools, I think you're able to pull these data very quickly at your fingertips.
Have you seen a great success story that exemplifies everything we've been talking about?
Yes. A lot of our customers use it as well in that way. So a couple of examples, I would say, I talked about the overlooked one that I think you asked about. It's a very interesting one. So one of the success stories I would say is one of the companies, they integrate their product with like 100 different solutions. For example, their product, they're an enterprise product, they integrate with 100 different solutions, which are third-party solutions. Now, if you want to show your customer, because 100 different solutions as a platform, I integrate my product with. But for every buyer, he's not integrating with 100 solutions. It's specific one integration for a buyer. Now, as a pre-sales person, you want to show specific demos for them, then it's incredibly hard for you to manage these many demo environments and show different integrations and keep on top of it, right? To show the specific to the buyers. One of the use cases where there is a huge value that Storylane has given to our customers in this case is like, you don't have to manage these 100 integrations. You can build micro demos of these 100 integrations quickly with Storylane. Anytime when somebody wants something, they're able to showcase specifically. And for that integration, for that permission settings and everything, quickly tailored and personalized, which means you're not spending time managing these 100 integrations. You are automated these, have a great set of template demos, micro demos that are readily available and for your platform that you can use themselves. So typically, as I said, they always look at like automating the ones where they don't have to go on a demo calls, but this is like they need to be on a demo call, but I don't want to spend grunt work of managing demo environments. That's a big use case that we see a lot today.
What's one workflow where you believe AI and pre-sales can create 10x impact starting today?
Starting today, the biggest impact you will see is basically like everything that I spoke about, I would say in the demo automation itself. The workflow would be like you build a demo and then have the demo environment that is personalized, delivered to your buyers today. That could be leveraged in your buying journey, right from your marketing all the way in your buying cycle during your POC itself. So to me, that is like the easiest win today for pre-sales, because what you're doing is spending too much time around your managing and mangling around the demo environments itself. So you would be able to take quick advantage of that. To me, that's like building some set of templates in your demo automation stack, personalizing them, using data based on like CRM data based on like where the buyer is coming from, which company, which industries they are, and personalizing them quickly. And using a sales agent to deliver these demos is the fastest way to take advantage, I would say.
Absolutely. Matthew, any additional questions from you?
I think I could talk about this for a very long time, but nothing coming to mind right now. I think that we're going to be hearing a lot more about AI as we keep going.
Nalin, before closing out the show, are there any parting thoughts or anything else you think our listeners should know?
We are launching in a couple of weeks a Lily sales agent on our website, which is basically going to do the discovery, pretty much like show a demo without talking to a real salesperson of what your product will do. We're super excited about launching that. So that's coming up. So you will see it on our website where you will be able to go and talk to a sales agent. Not just voice, it'll be a video, and you can see a demo of Storylane completely specific, tailored to yours. So that's what we're launching as well. Again, shaping up from the top of the funnel, and will be used by pre-sales and marketing and every as well. And if you need to reach me anytime, I'm a little active on LinkedIn. Definitely connect me on LinkedIn as well. Happy to chat more.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the time today, Nalin. You shared some valuable insights, and I know people appreciated it.
Thank you for listening to the Presales Podcast. These shows are recorded live during our bi-weekly LinkedIn show called Presales Live and include a listener Q&A after each recording. To find information on the live show, head to presalescollective.com/podcast, follow the Presales Collective page on LinkedIn, or join the Presales Collective Slack. We have a dedicated channel for the Presales Podcast where you can find more information and join in the conversation after the show. We'll see you next time.